So I heard you all needed help downloading PNGs and SVGs onto your computer. Well, guess what? You are at the right place because today I'm going to be teaching you how to download fonts and PNGs and SVG files on both Windows and Mac computers. My name is Lauren and I'm a craft producer here at Makers Gonna Learn. What we are a crafting community where we bring you inspiration, education, and motivation to get your Cricut out and start using it today. So, if you're ready to learn how to download those files and fonts, let's go ahead and jump on over to Makers Gonna Learn so that I can teach you. Now that we're here on the Makers Gonna Learn website, we can go to the cut files, but before we go there, I want to make sure you all know we are starting out with the Mac version. So this is just for Mac users. Next we will do the Windows users, but we're gonna go to the cut files section. And then from there, you can choose what cut file you want to download. You can search our cut files. You can go to the filter and sort and go through all of the different categories that we have. You can sort them by most popular, newest alphabetical, and you can view them at 30, 90, or all of them at one time. So we're already here on the craft section. I'm just gonna scroll down, and I think I wanna do this mental health therapist. So what you're gonna do, you can either click on this image, or you can click this little arrow icon that's pointing down and that will automatically download it. Let's just go ahead and click on the image so I can show you what it looks like. Here you can really get a good feel of what the PNG and SVG is going to look like, and then if you click on it, there is a download button here. So all you're going to do is click download. It's going to come down here to the bottom. You're going to double click that. It is going to open up the zip file. It's going to have it as a zip file, and you see it says mental health zip. We want to make sure we open that up and open up that folder so that it has both the PNG and the SVG. Now that we're here on Cricut Design Space, to upload these into Design Space, what you can do is go down here to the upload section and you are going to upload image. Now there are two different ways you can do this. You can pull this down and we'll minimize our browser, and you can drag and drop these files. You can click this and you can drag and drop it. You see how that turns green? You can drag and drop that, either one of those files, and those will work. So let's drag and drop the PNG and then I'll browse for the SVG. So this is the PNG version. We're gonna go with complex just because I like to always go with complex. Continue, apply and continue. And because this was the PNG version, we are gonna select print and cut. And then we're gonna upload it into Design Space. And there it is. Now, we'll go back to the upload image to browse. If you don't like drag and dropping or you don't want to drag and drop, you can go to browse. You can go to downloads, and here you can see it's there. And we're gonna choose the SVG version and you're gonna open it. Super simple, very easy, and now both your PNG and SVG versions are in Design Space, and y'all, you don't have to upload these again. They're gonna be there forever. If you want to, if they end up being further on down, you can go to recent uploads, view all, and you can even search your uploaded images, but they're all there. You do not have to upload them multiple times. So now that we talked about uploading our files, our PNG and SVG files, let's head back over to Makers Gonna Learn and let's go to our fonts and let me show you how you can download fonts on a Mac computer. Now that we're here on our font section, I'm just going to choose a font. Let's go with Candid. Once again, you're gonna click this icon. This is the arrow pointing down for download. Just in case you all weren't aware, you can preview your custom text on the Makers Gonna Learn website here. So if you wanted to see what a name looks like, let's just type in Lauren, and you can scroll through all of these to see which one is gonna look best for your project. You can do that. So we're just gonna download Candid. You're gonna click the arrow pointing down. Once again, it's gonna bring it down here to the bottom corner. Now some are different. It may bring it down here to the bottom corner. Some may be up here on the top right corner, but the downloads, you're gonna have to open up these zip files wherever the downloads go. So it is completely downloaded. We're gonna double click it, open that up. It's going to say Candid OTF. We're gonna make sure we open that. and then we are going to install the font. Now, for Mac computers, this is called your font book. This is where all of your fonts are going to be stored. You can find it in your font book, but just because it's downloaded onto your computer does not mean it is ready for Cricut Design Space just yet. What you now have to do is go back to the Cricut Design Space. Now, once you're back to Cricut Design Space, you're going to want to make sure that if you are working on something, we currently aren't here, you're going to want to make sure that you save your project, because if you do this next step and you haven't saved your project, you are going to lose all of the progress that you have made. But let me just go ahead and show you. The one we were using was Candid. Let's go to Systems. I'm going to type in Candid. It's not there. So what you're going to do, you're going to come up here to View, and you're going to reload Cricut Design Space. Previously, we would have told you to exit it out, open it back up, but all you have to do is go to View and Reload, and now we can grab this text, go to our System Fonts, type in Candid, and there it is. You now have a new font uploaded into Cricut Design Space. Now that we're done talking about downloading files and fonts onto our Mac, let's move over to a Windows computer. So just like before, we're going to start out with our PNGs and SVGs. So instead of, I've just selected, I think I'm going to do, all I need is a little bit of caffeine and a lot of crafting. And y'all, I don't know if you can relate, but this is my life in a cut file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, once again, this arrow pointing down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hit this download button to download it onto our computer. Just the same as our Mac did, it pulls up down here in the bottom left-hand corner. We're going to open that up, and it does look a little bit different. We're going to go to Downloads. You can see it's still zipped. I'm going to right-click that, and I'm going to select Extract All, okay? So now it's going to show up, show the extracted files when complete, so we're going to extract that. Here they are extracted. Now I'm going to pull up Cricut Design Space, same as the other one, go to Upload, Upload Image, and with PCs, I really like the drag and drop feature. You're just going to click this, drag it over here, and it will upload your files into Cricut Design Space. From there, you're just going to click Upload, just like you would anything else, and there it is, and that is the SVG version of that file. So now let's talk about fonts. How you download fonts onto a Windows computer. Same thing as with the Mac and every other download, we're going to click this arrow pointing down icon. We're going to download it. We're going to open it up. Then we're going to double click it. It will then open up here and give you the option to install it. So we're going to click Install. And this is going to install it on the character map. So this is, you can find your fonts on your PC or on your Windows computer in the character map. So if we go here, you can see we have searched character map before. You can open that up and it's going to show you all of the downloaded fonts you have on your computer. Same as before, to upload it onto Cricut Design Space, what you're going to do, we're going to go back to our canvas. We are going to make sure that this one is not downloaded so that you know exactly how to do this. So we downloaded the font name Affection in our system. It's not there. Same thing, if you're working with something, make sure to save it. You're going to come up here to View. You're going to reload Cricut Design Space. It will reload the whole thing. If you did not save what you were working on, it's not going to be there anymore. We're going to grab this text box again, pull it down, go to System Fonts, type in Affection, and there we go. It is downloaded into Design Space. Honestly, it's really not that hard. I can see how people can get confused trying to download files, especially if you're not as tech savvy as others, but I really hope that this has simplified things for you and makes you feel more confident in downloading those files and using them in Design Space. If you are interested in being a part of our crafting community, make sure you check us out at the link down below, makersgonnalearn.com. We would love to have you. We offer thousands of cut files, hundreds of fonts, and we bring you at least 1,000 new cut files a month. I hope you have enjoyed this short and quick tutorial, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Y'all, Design Space has updated. We are here to show you all the new functions, everything we love, everything we don't love so much, and everything that you need to know to get started today. If you're new here, my name is Alicia. I am a craft producer with the Makers Gonna Learn YouTube channel, and we would love for you to be a part of our crafting community. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and little bell so you're notified every single time that we post new crafty videos. So once you're in Design Space, you may have not updated your Design Space yet. So what you're gonna do is come to the top left corner where you see these three lines. We're gonna click that. We're gonna go to the settings menu, and we're gonna go ahead and switch over to the beta version. So it'll say application experience. We're gonna select beta. It's gonna say changing settings may restart your application. Please save all work before continuing. Basically, it's telling you if you're mid-project and you're trying to update your Design Space, go ahead and save your project and then come back and repeat these steps. And then you're gonna select done. This is going to reinstall Cricut and give you the latest version of Design Space. Okay, now that it's updated, we are back to our canvas screen. It's just gonna automatically open up into this canvas screen. It's gonna look a little bit different, but let me just show you all what exactly is new with this beta version of Design Space. So everything you're really gonna need is over here in the layers panel. But what I'm gonna do is show you all of the functions and show you all of the features, and try not to confuse anybody in the process because it's really relatively simple. I'm just gonna take you step by step. That way you all know exactly all the tools that you're gonna be able to utilize in your future Design Space needs. I'm gonna go ahead and pull in just some basic images so you all can see exactly how these tools work. I'm gonna use a star and a circle, and we'll change the colors so you all can really see the difference here. We'll just pick basic colors. Okay, and then there's 4 new tools. So I'm going to, okay, so we've got all of our shapes here. You can see them over here in the layers panel, but you're probably thinking the layers panel is looking a little bit different to me today. Well, we will get a little bit more into that as the video goes, but I want to go ahead and show you all these combine functions on the bottom. So right here, this is the ticket. This is all of the brand new features that Design Space updated. So let's go ahead and start by selecting 2 of our basic shapes. I've got a star and a circle here, and we're gonna go down here to this combine menu. So the combine menu has other functions within the menu. We've still got our weld. This was here previously, but now we've got unite, subtract, intersect, and exclude. They each have different functions, very similar. I'm gonna show you all the differences. So previously with weld, if I select weld, you're gonna be able to see what happens here. So all of these are connected. So it basically makes a unified shape. I'm going to undo that. Now, if you welded and you went off of Design Space, you would not be able to undo that at all. The new feature, Unite, if you select it, it's gonna give you the same effect as weld would, but you're gonna be able to undo this at any moment in time. So if I went out of Design Space and came back in, I would be able to undo my Unite, which is crazy. This is the tool that everybody's been wanting. This is like the thing that everyone wants because you're gonna be able to undo any work if you need to make changes. Another good thing about Unite is that the images are still here individually on their own layers. So if I wanted to move this star around, I can click star and I can actually rotate this. And then when I click off of it, it's still going to weld back together. I can move it to a different portion of the circle if I wanted to. And I can also click on it in the layers panel and resize it. And it's just gonna go back to that perfectly united image. The next feature is subtract. So I'm going to select my images. I'm going to go to the combine menu and select subtract. Whenever we do this, it slices the top image out of the bottom image. The subtract function is very similar to the slice function, but let me show you all what's super cool about this. So the images are still on their separate layers over here, and what you're going to be able to do is move around your image. So I can take our star, and I can move it onto the circle, and it's going to slice out wherever I position it on that circle. That is cool, you all. I love that. The third function I want to talk about today is the intersect function. So with the intersect function, it's going to leave only the parts of the shape that overlap. So you can see that the circle disappeared, and then the star that was hanging off of the edge of the circle also disappeared, leaving just this shape. Now let's see what happens if we select the star in the layers panel underneath our intersect. You can see right here, when I moved it into the middle of the circle, it's going to cut off the edges of the star because they overlap. When we move it down here, it's going to cut off anything that's outside of that circle edge. The fourth function that Design Space added is the exclude function. So whenever you hit exclude, you're going to see that where the shapes overlap, it will slice out the portion that is overlapping. This is basically the opposite of the intersect tool, and you're going to be able to still come over here in the layers panel and move your shape around so you can get it to where you want it. Those are the 4 functions that Cricut added to Design Space. Now there's one more feature that I want to show you all, and what you're going to be able to do is merge your layers. So if you select any of these layers, I'm selecting the Unite layer, so we've got 2 sub layers underneath it. You can go down to the combine menu and you can merge the layers. Now this is not reversible. You can't undo it. There's not a whole lot of reason why you're going to need to merge your layers right now. My guess is that they've added this feature for future updates. I'm not 100% sure on that. But right now, it's not a super necessary tool, but it's going to be good to have in the future. Let me show you all some real-life examples of how you would use these tools in the day-to-day design process. Let's talk about a real-life example of using the Unite function. So whenever you type out your text in Design Space, a lot of times you're going to run into your letters wanting to slice out at each letter. So you can see on here, everywhere that there's a black line, we're going to have a slice from our Cricut. So where the Unite function comes in is you're going to be able to select your text. We're going to go to Combine and Unite, and you can see that everywhere that those black lines intersected is completely open now. So it looks like the weld function, except the perk of using the Unite function is that it can be undone. If for some reason you needed to undo this, you can go back to the Combine menu and select Undo Unite, and you're going to get it right back to how you started. So the subtract function works very similar to the slice function. Whenever I select both images, I'm going to go to my combine menu, select subtract, and you can see that it's sliced out all of these little lightning bolts. Very similar to the slice function, except there's no layers. So normally when you slice, there's like 4 layers, 3 or 4 layers each time. This way, we don't have to do any of that. So it's going to save you a ton of time whenever you're designing a lot and you're very heavily into Design Space. This is just going to make your work a lot faster. The exclude function is a new function that I'm not necessarily going to be using a ton of, if I had to guess. I may get a little bit more familiar with these features and decide, oh, maybe I do use it more often than I think I will. But I just wanted to show you all a simple example of how you would use this. So I have a single layer SVG right here, and then I have a basic shape rectangle in purple and a basic shape in black. What I'm going to do is select the SVG and then one of the rectangles, go to combine and hit exclude. So you can see where the SVG overlapped on the black square, it actually removed that portion of the SVG and then left the other side over here. If we move the black square, you can see that this became a unit. So the two images that we selected to exclude from is now a unit, but you can still go over to your layers panel and move this around if you need to. And then when I click off of it, it's gonna just exclude it again. The fourth feature is the intersect feature. I've just got a rose SVG and a simple circle. I'm going to select both images, combine, and then we're going to intersect. So you can tell right here that the circle cut right on the edge of that rose. Now, if I pulled in another circle, just so you all can see better, I'm gonna pull in another one and put it behind our rose. I just want you all to see when you would actually use something like this. It would be perfect if you were making a circular decal or something like that. And you can see this just will line up perfectly on the edge of the circle. So there's a couple more functions I want to go over in the layers panel. The first one being that the group and ungroup button is now a singular function. So if I selected both of these, the Unite and the Lauren, I can go up here. I'm going to hover over this because before there was labels under each of these buttons. Now there's not. So it'll just say group and I can select group. If I want to ungroup them, I'm just going to hit that same exact button again. Another thing that you can do in the layers panel now is if I turn this into a group and I want to add something else in my layers panel to that group, I can select it. I can select anything and I can pull it up here and add it to that group. So whenever I select this group in the layers panel, it's gonna select that random square as well as Lauren and Unite. But you're still gonna have the freedom to move around the individual layers within the group. The last feature I wanna talk about is the renaming layers feature. This is gonna be super handy if you have a ton of layers in your design. You're gonna be able to name them whatever you want by double clicking on the layer and renaming it whatever you want. So I'm gonna title that Rose Cutout. You can also select the layer and hit Control click and rename it from there. I hope that going over all of these functions was super helpful for you all. I know it can be overwhelming whenever you're in Design Space and you're like, what are all these new tools? How do I use them? We really wanted to make a very simplified version for you all to come back to if you need help in the new updated Design Space. I do want to let you all know that this is still the beta version of Design Space, so there may be changes along the way. They may update things, but this is the most updated that we can possibly show you all right now. You're just going to want to make sure if they do go completely live and release the full version that you all are going back and actually switching back from the beta to the live version. If you all like today's tutorial, make sure to check out the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. We have tons of videos on Design Space tutorials, as well as so much more. We love to give you all the best crafting education. We are here for you. If you need anything, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye.
Y'all, stop what you're doing because Cricut has released their warped text feature for Design Space. I mean, honestly, I didn't think that it would come this quick, but it is here. The only thing is it is currently in the beta version and not the live version, and you do have to be a Cricut Access user to use it. But in this video, we're going to tell you everything that we know so far, show you how it works, and if you'll stick around, I'm actually going to show you how you can do this for free and not have Cricut Access because y'all, we've been doing this around here for quite some time. My name is Lauren and I'm a craft producer here at Maker's Gonna Learn, and I can't wait to dive into this video to show you this new feature in Cricut Design Space and also show you how you can do it for free. So let's go ahead and hop on over into Design Space. So now that we're here, like I said, this is in the beta version of Cricut Design Space. Now, if you have not changed between live and beta version, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. If you're not sure, if you will look up here at the top, this clearly says beta. It should say if you are in beta or live version. However, you can also check that in your settings. So what you're going to do is you're going to come over to the three lines here on the left-hand side of your screen. You're going to click that and you are going to scroll down to where it says settings. You're going to click your settings and then this dialog box is going to pop up. Now you're going to be able to choose which application experience you want to have. Do you want beta or live version? For this, because it is not currently live, we are going to choose the beta version. You're going to click done, and then you're going to have to exit out of Design Space and pull it back up for it to be in the beta version. So just to briefly explain to you all what the beta version means, when people are creating new softwares, they will have different versions. So an alpha version is going to be their first version of a software that they may test in-house. The next version is going to be your beta version. So this is going to be close to perfect, but not quite perfect yet, but they want to get it out there to the public to see how the public reacts to this new feature or new things that they have in the program. And then they can go back, fix the bugs, and after those bugs have been fixed, they will send it to the live version of the software. So that's really the only difference between the live and the beta version. In beta, you may get certain updates a little faster, but all the bugs with those updates may not be worked out yet. So you may have to go back and forth between the beta and the live version. But like I said, I just showed you how to do that. It's super easy and something that you can do every day if you want to. So now that we are for sure in the beta version, let's hop back over to Design Space. We're going to enter in a text and I'm going to show you how this warped feature works. So we're going to hop over here to the left-hand panel and I'm going to grab a text. We're actually going to be using the text bell bottom, the font bell bottom. This is a Maker's Gonna Learn font. If you don't know who we are, Maker's Gonna Learn is a craft membership community where we bring you thousands of cut files, hundreds of fonts for you to use with your Cricut every month. Y'all, we have some really, really good fonts, and this retro font is definitely one of my favorites, and I think will work really well with this warp feature. Since we're working with a retro font, let's just go with the word groovy. So I'm going to blow this up just a little bit so you all can see this better. Now the warp function can be found at your top toolbar up here right next to offset, and we're going to just click this arrow for the drop down menu. Now once again, like I said, this function is only for Cricut Access users right now, and I honestly have a feeling that it may stay just with Cricut Access users. So if you do have access, this is going to be a great function that you can use. However, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to teach you all how to do this for free. So don't worry if you don't have access, we will get there. So as you can see, there are 24 different warp functions that you can choose with this. So we're just going to start from the top and we'll work our way down. So with one, as you can see, it's going to curve it slightly. Now, in my opinion, this really doesn't do anything much different than the actual curve function. So that is one thing that, to keep in mind. These more basic ones you can just do with a curve function. So let's look at this one. As you can see, this one makes the sides larger and the middle here is a lot skinnier. The one thing that I'm not a huge fan of about this function as of right now is because there is not a point of movement within anything. So it warps it, and that's really all you can do with it. You can't move. Let's go to 11, for example. So this is kind of like the flag warp, and it goes up and down. So if I were doing this on a different software, I would like to have a point of movement, say here in the middle somewhere, where I can make this crest or middle point move back toward the front, over to the end, make this side higher. So there are a lot of things that I think may be fixed when it comes to the live version. Once again, this is just the beta version, so it's just in kind of like its testing phase. So I do like it, but I still think there are a lot of improvements that can be made. One thing that you can do, so let's go here and let's do two lines of groovy. And as you can see, it will do multiple lines. Now, so one drawback with this is if you wanted to do multiple colors on the different lines, you can't do that unless you type in the same word in two different text boxes. So if I go to change the color here, it's going to change both words. The way that you can do that and get by with this is, let's say we get rid of this bottom groovy, and then we are going to duplicate this one, and then we can change the color from there and then move it down and then align these and center them horizontally. The one thing that I will say is you have to be careful with what fonts you use with each effect, because some of them look really, really cool. Others, you know, not the greatest. It really depends. This one I thought would be really cool, kind of give you like that Star Wars opening monologue effect, but then when I go to do it, it's like I can't even read it. So I really, like I said, I wish there was a point of movement where I could take this top of this G and like move it out a little bit. But otherwise, you know, it's pretty cool. So now that you've stuck around, you've seen the new feature in the beta version of Cricut Design Space, which once again is going to be great for so many people. Let me teach you how you can do this for free if you don't have or don't want to get Cricut access. So we're actually going to go to a website called Photopea, however you want to say it, .com. So it's PHOTOPEA.com. What we are going to do is we are going to create a new project. Now, this looks kind of intimidating when it pulls up, but y'all just stay with me. I'm actually going to change my width to inches just because I like working with a 12 by 12, because that's what we work with within Cricut Design Space is 12 by 12. So I'm doing a 12 by 12 project. Background color, you can choose your background color from there, and we're just going to select create. Okay, so this is going to be like representation of your Cricut mat. Now we're going to come over here to the left hand side of our toolbar, and we're going to select the text tool. Now you can still use Maker's Gonna Learn fonts here in Photopea.com. What you're going to do, you're going to load font here on your font menu. You're going to hit the drop down load font. It's going to pull up all of your fonts here. We're going to search bell bottom because that's the one that we worked with. We are going to choose it. Now this, I have downloaded this from Maker's Gonna Learn, so it is in my computer. I'm going to open that. Okay, and now it is loaded onto the website. So now to find it, all I have to do is type in bell bottom, and here it is. We're going to click on our blank that we're working with. I'm going to size this up so that you all can see this better. We'll move it down. And just because we worked with Groovy a while ago, we're just going to type in Groovy again. So now that you have that, you can change the color here. You can put in your RGBs. You can put in a hex code down here. You can work with it. You can really do a nice custom color. So many ways you can choose your colors. You can choose from standard colors down here. But I do love working with a color picker similar to this. So we're just going to go there, hit OK. Change this back to the color we want. And now what you're going to do is you're going to go to the warp button here at the top. So now we're going to select warp. You're going to style here says none. We're going to select the style that we want, and you can scroll down here and see all of the different styles that they offer. Now, it's not 24 like we have in Cricut Design Space, but really and truly, some of these are better in my opinion. So for example, the wave is going to keep the bottom line straight and wave this up. And what I love about this website is you can change where your bend is. So if I wanted the bend on the left side, I would come down, or on the right side, I would go this way. You can choose your horizontal distortion, whether it goes up, goes down, or stays right in the middle. And then you can also choose your vertical distortion, whether it goes out or comes in. So this is something that this function works so well when you are really creating custom pieces. You can really manipulate which way your word goes and piece different words together. So the other one that I really love to use is the flag. This one is really popular right now. And once again, you can choose how much or how little bend you have in your word and which way you want your word to bend. So I absolutely love that. Now, once you have pieced words together, you have the word that you want, you're going to click OK, and that's going to stay there. Now, you can move this around. It really doesn't matter, but you can move your words around, create here. I've not really used Photopea for anything other than warping my text because I really love that function. Once you have created the text and placed it where you want it, what you're going to do, come up here to the top left-hand corner, you're going to select File. You're going to scroll down to Export As. Now, there are two different options here, or actually there's multiple options, but two that we really work with a lot within Cricut Design Space. So you can either export this as a PNG, or if you want it to be a cut image, you can export this as an SVG. And that's what we're going to do today, and then I'm going to show you how to upload this into Cricut Design Space. So we're going to click Export as SVG. You're going to want to make sure that you have the vectorize text button clicked. Otherwise, it's just going to show you a straight line. So we're going to vectorize this text, and then we are going to save it. Now, it's going to come down here into your downloads. Now, we're going to go back to Cricut Design Space. We'll delete these two out, and we're going to go to Upload, Upload Image, Browse. I'm going to my downloads because that's where it downloaded, was in my download folder. Click that, open it. We are doing this as a cut image, upload, and add it to our canvas. And y'all, now you have your custom warped text absolutely free. So, what are your thoughts? I would love to hear your thoughts on the new warped text feature within Cricut Design Space. Drop those in the comments. Let us know what you think. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think it's a great update for Cricut Design Space. I really think they are moving in the right direction. However, having it for access members only, I don't know. I mean, I did show you how you can do it for free, so technically, do you have to be an access member? That's going to be your choice. I'm so glad that I was able to bring this update to you guys and once again show you how to do the warped text for free. As always, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell notification so that you can be notified every time we get crafty.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. My name's Alicia, and today we're going to be showing you all how to access the glyphs and special characters in your font book through your Mac, through your HP, and through your iPhone and iPad. A lot of you may be asking, what even is a glyph? You may have stumbled upon this video and you're just curious. Well, I am going to explain that all to you all in this video. So if you're unsure exactly if the fonts that you've downloaded do have glyphs or special characters, there is a way to find out. We have a website that you can easily pull and drag your fonts into, and it's going to tell you if your font has different glyphs, if it has special characters. It's super easy to access, free to access even, and I'm going to take you guys step by step on how to figure that out. Let's go ahead and get started on how to access our special characters and glyphs through the Mac. Okay, so once you are into the Maker's Gonna Learn website, we're gonna go to the font section. And a lot of you may be asking, how do I know if my font has glyphs or special characters? One way that we figured out how to do this, other than just literally going in here and then going into our font book, is to download a font. So I'm gonna download, let's just do like a regular font. Let's go to basic fonts and we're gonna download one, any random one. Let's do Albuquerque. So I'm gonna download that and then make sure the file is unzipped. Okay, we have installed the font, and the website that we were using to figure out if we had the glyphs was fontdrop.info, fontdrop.info. And once the page pulls up, we're just going to drag and drop our font file here. So we're gonna find our font, and we've got Albuquerque right here. I'm just going to click and drag. You see Albuquerque right here, and then if we scroll down, here is all of the fonts, and if there are any glyphs, you will see them. So this font just has the basic numbers, letters. There's obviously like a bold and a not bold, and then there are like our symbols right here, but there aren't any special characters. So let me pull in a font that I know for a fact has special characters, and you all will be able to see all of those using this website. So I'm going to download our Arrow font, which I know definitely has glyphs. I'm going to be using Arrow Words, and we're just going to download this font. This is such a cute font to use. And then we can go back over to Font Drop. And then we're going to click and drag Arrow Words into the font drop. And you all will be able to see all of the regular characters. And then we have all of our arrows here. How cool is that? Not only does this type have different arrows, but it also has these we've got like the O's, all of the E's like that, and then we have these beautiful T's. I love these. We can use these within our designs to make our designs a little bit more elevated. So those are super cute to use. If you just downloaded this font, let me show you what it looks like if we don't pull it into here. So you can open up like this, so it'll kind of look like that, but through the font website, you're able to see all of these question mark symbols. They're actual glyphs. Now that you're able to decipher between which fonts have glyphs and which ones don't, I want to show you all how to actually access them using your MacBook, using your HP, your iPad, your iPhone. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the Mac, and we'll just work our way through them all. Now that you're on the home screen of your Mac, I'm going to select Command Space on the keyboard, and I'm going to type in font book. Then I will select all fonts, and we're just going to find the font that we downloaded, the Arrow Words, which is right here. And you'll be able to scroll and see all of the special characters. You can see these little arrows a lot closer up. So that's pretty cool that you're able to kind of just skim and see everything that this specific font can offer you as far as glyphs and special characters go. Now that we have found the glyphs in our font book, what I'm going to do are select the glyphs that I want to use. So I'm going to do them individually, and I think I'm going to type out "be brave," and I want to have the end of the arrow at the beginning of my word and then the tip of the arrow at the end of the word. So let's just select any of these arrow ends. I think this one's cute, and I'm just going to select Command C, and then that will copy this. I'm going to hop over to Design Space. Make sure that your font is downloaded before you start trying to do this in Design Space, or otherwise it's not going to work. And I'm just gonna go ahead and type Be Brave. And we can even put a space in between if we wanted. And then I'm gonna select Command V to paste in the end of our arrow. So we've got this arrow right here, and then Be Brave, and I'm gonna put the tip of the arrow over here beside the E. So I'm gonna go back to my font book and choose an arrow that I like. I feel like this one is cute. Let's Command C to copy it. Go back to Design Space, Command V to paste it, and there you have it. So now we've got our arrow font. If you wanted to cut this into like a sticker or something, you could weld everything together and then just cut it with permanent vinyl. Now that we went over how to access our glyphs in a Mac, I wanted to show you guys how to access it on your PC. So let's go ahead and hop on over to Design Space on our PCs, and I will show you guys exactly how to do that. So the first thing you're gonna do is make sure to go ahead and download the font, and I'm just gonna use the same Arrow Words font just so we can kind of keep it streamlined and no one gets lost in what I'm doing. So I'm gonna start by going to the fonts area of our website, and I'm just gonna be using the Arrow Words font again for this example. That way no one gets lost during the explanation. And then we're just gonna go ahead and download that and unzip our file, just how we would normally do. And then go ahead and install your font. And then the next thing we're gonna do is come to this search bar and type in character map. And right here is the character map. Just click on that, click open. Once the character map is open, you're just gonna select the drop-down menu and you're gonna find your font. There's Arrow Words, and then all of our characters are right here. So what you'll do, if you want to select a specific one, I'm just gonna select this arrow and I'm going to copy it. Now that we're in Design Space, I'm gonna go ahead and type out my Be Brave text and make sure that you have selected the font you're wanting to use. So if you try to plug in your characters and your font is not set to Arrow Words, then you will not be able to pull in your glyphs. So what I'm gonna do, I've got my character map pulled up behind Design Space. I'm just gonna pull this down and I've got my character map right there. I'm gonna be using one of these little arrows, so you can just select it and make sure this box is cleared right here. It's teeny tiny, but I'm gonna make sure it's cleared. I'm gonna select the end arrow, hit select, copy, and then we're gonna go back into Design Space. I'm gonna come to the beginning of my letters and I'm going to select edit and paste. So there's the end of our arrow. And then now I want to go back to our character map and select the arrowhead, and it can just be any of these. I'm going to select, copy, and then we're going to edit and paste. And you can see right here, I didn't delete out the tail end of the arrow before I copied the beginning of the arrow in the character map. So I'm just going to delete this part. And then you have it just like that. And obviously you can weld these together so it's one solid unit. And there you have it. Lastly, I want to show you all how you're able to access the glyphs through an iPhone or an iPad. A lot of times people use their iPads solely for Design Space purposes. So I wanted to show you all the way that you can do that without actually having a computer. It's relatively simple, and you're going to need a couple different apps. So you're gonna need two different apps to access the glyphs on your iPhone or iPad. I use an app called Unicode on my iPhone. It is 99 cents, but it works really well, and it's necessary for you to access your glyphs using your phone or your iPad. If you're using Design Space frequently and you're using glyphs frequently, it's gonna be very beneficial for you all to have this app downloaded. The second app you're gonna need is the iFont app. So this app is free to download. I will link them below so you all will have access to these apps if you need them. But this one allows you to actually put the fonts onto your phone or your iPad, which you're gonna need to do first. and then we pull them into the Unicode app that I talked about previously. The last way I want to show you all how to access your glyphs on your iPhone or iPad. This technique is going to work for both. What you're going to do first is download your font. So I'm on the Makers Gonna Learn website on my cell phone. I'm just going to select our little cloud. This is the Arrow Words font. I'm going to select download, and then we'll select this download menu right here. And then I'm just going to select that. We're going to open it, and I have already downloaded the iFont app. So I'm just going to select that in my apps. And I downloaded this earlier, so you're going to see both, but I'm just going to select install, and I'm going to allow that, and it'll say profile downloaded. It says review the profile in the settings app if you want to install it. And then it will just prompt you with these instructions. Just follow exactly like it says, super easy. And I'm going to close out of this. Once you've got your font downloaded in the iFont app, we're going to go ahead and pop into our Unicode app, and you will select Browse Fonts, and you can see that Arrow Words is in my recent fonts, but you can search it down here. You can scroll. You could just plug it in your search bar either way. I see it right here, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. And then you can see all of our glyphs right inside of this app. How cool is that? So what we'll do next, I know the design that I want. I want to be using the end of an arrow and the tip of an arrow. So I can just select any of these ends of the arrows. I'm going to open it up like that. And then on the top right, I'll select this little box with the arrow, and you can select share glyph. And that's virtually going to copy it. You select copy right there. And then I'm just going to open up Design Space, and we can pull up a text box. You're going to select your Arrow Words font, and then you can just paste in the end of your arrow. I'm going to type in Be Brave, and then I'm just going to slide right back over to my glyphs, and I'm going to select a point to my arrow. You'll just select the square with the arrow, share your glyph, select copy, and then we're going to go back. And then we're just going to paste it in right there. And that's it. You are done. You can make this bigger if you need to. You can weld it, all of that good stuff. And that's how you would do this on the iPad or the iPhone. I hope you all found this video very informative, and I hope that it helps you really elevate your designs by using the glyphs, using those special characters. And I really want you all to take this knowledge and incorporate it into your future designs. I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Did you guys hear the big news? Cricut has come out with a print and cut update that we have been asking for months, maybe even years. And I'm so excited to bring it to you all today and show you how you can use it in Design Space right now. So previously with the print and cut feature, you were only able to cut within a very small parameter. Cricut has listened to the customers, and they have updated the print and cut features so that we can cut up to a tabloid size or an A3 size paper, which is so amazing. And I'm going to show you all how to do that right now. So I am in Design Space as we speak, and I am already in the beta version of Design Space. So a lot of times whenever Cricut releases updates, they will need you to go into the beta version while they're still testing things out and kind of working out the kinks. They do a slow release of the new updates to certain Cricut customers. It's just kind of randomly placed throughout Design Space. So I'm going to show you all how to switch to beta version if you are currently in the live version. So we're just going to select the top left 3 lines, and then we're going to come down to settings, and then right here under general, you can see application experience, and then there's beta and there's live. Now, typically we are living in the live experience, but whenever they release these new updates, you're gonna want to make sure that you were in the beta experience. So I went ahead and selected beta, and then you're going to select done. Now, if you have not been in the beta version yet, it's going to automatically close and reload Cricut Design Space. So make sure if you're working on anything that you save your project before you switch to the beta version. The next thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your machine is calibrated. So we'll go back to this top left menu, and then you can see there's a calibration option right here. Now we have tons of videos on the channel showing you all how to do this within any of our print and cut videos. We usually go through the calibration process, so go ahead and do that, and all you're going to need to do is just follow the prompts on the screen, and it's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. So previously in Cricut Design Space, you were going to only be able to cut up to 6.75 inches by 9.25 inches. And that was a problem, especially for people who are wanting to make large decals for shirts, large decals as stickers and things like that. Well, the update for Cricut is going to allow us to cut up to an A3 size paper and even a tabloid size paper. Now, A3 is 11 by 16.5 inches, allowing us to cut 10.64 by 15.43. So you all, this is huge. This is going to allow us to cut very, very big projects, which is so amazing because there are so many crafts that we like to do using larger images. So let me show you all what happens whenever I make this image very, very big. So right now it's at 14 by 19. And you can see in our layers panel, we're getting this little warning image. So I'm just going to select this right here. And you can see it says image is too large for 8.5 by 11 paper. We've detected that the max size for this shape is 6.75 by 9.27. And that's because I have my page size set to 8.5 by 11 still. So what you can do in the top left corner, we can go down to settings, load type, and you can see that I've still got my print and cut page size set to 8.5 by 11. Now they did update the 8.5 by 11 print and cut so it fills up the entire page, but we want to print this on a big sheet of paper. So let's try the A3 for this example. So you can see it's got the measurements right here, and then I'm going to select done. Now it doesn't do anything right now, but what you can do is come back to the layers panel, select that little red icon, and then you can auto resize your image, and it's going to adjust it to these measurements right here, which are going to fit within those A3 paper measurements. So I'm going to select auto size re-image, and you can see it automatically adjusts our image so that it will fit perfectly on our A3 paper. Now if we go to make it, you're going to be able to see this on the paper. So we can already see on the Make It page that the bounding box looks a little bit different than it did before. Typically the bounding box would go around the entire image, and now we've just got the four corners. This is going to allow us to move this up, down, and around if you need to, but y'all, you can see when I zoom out, this is going on a 12 by 24 inch mat. So you will need a 12 by 24 inch mat in order to do print and cut images this big. And you will also need a wide format printer if you are deciding to do something like this. Okay, another way that you can adjust your image, say we've blown it up really big and we're still getting this little icon right here, you can also change the page size through this link right here. And you can see right here the print and cut page size, you've got the drop down menu right here. So if you were still on 8.5 by 11, you could change it this way to A3. Let's go ahead and change it to tabloid and see what that does for us. So I'm going to select done, and you can see our image does not adjust. So you're going to need to click here and then auto resize image. And then for the tabloid size, you can see that it adjusts it to a 9.93 by 13.62. Let's go ahead and go to the Make It page and look at that one. So the tabloid pages are a little bit skinnier than the A3, and that's fine. It's just going to depend on whatever paper that you've got in hand that you are needing to use. So I've showed you more in detail how to work with the wide format printing or the super large print and cut. Now, if you've just got a standard inkjet printer or just like a standard sublimation printer or something like that, I want to show you the perk of being able to auto resize your image to fit within an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So right now my image is pretty big. I went and changed in my settings our load type back to 8.5 by 11. Typically, that's what I'm going to be doing with my print and cut. What is really nice is having this auto resize image, because now instead of manually moving this up and down, I can just select auto resize image and it's gonna fit my image into that 8.5 by 11 bounding box. So you can see when we go over to make it, it's gonna fill it up as big as possible. As you can see, this is going to be super beneficial in the craft world. This is something that we have been asking for forever. And y'all, when I heard that this was released, I was like, we have to get on this. Like, show me now. I want to see it, because we do so many print and cut projects with our Cricut, and this is just going to be super helpful when it comes to other print and cut projects that we're doing. I hope that you all learned something new in this video today. We are so excited to bring this to you. If you are curious about print and cut projects, we've got tons of videos on our channel for you all to see. If you are new here, make sure to click subscribe and hit the little bell so you're notified every time that we post new videos, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye.